All right, what's up? So we just entered in a put trade. I was in from the last candle close beneath this trend line here, and what made this a trade is let me bring up my let me bring this up here. I wonder if I can move it. Well, anyways, let's look at it. Hold on. Let me change it here. Anyway, we'll just talk about it. We'll just talk about it. So, what made this a great trade was I see the buy volume divergence here. Okay, as you can see, the market has about average volume. Okay, now I'm thinking these candles here are also average volume, and it shot up higher. Okay, these candles here are also average volume, but didn't shoot up higher. And in fact, we had increasing volume, but the stock was not moving. So that tells me sellers were here. Okay, instead of sellers being up here, right? Instead of sellers being up here, come on, right? Instead of sellers being up here, sellers were here. Okay, so I said, okay, that's nice. Now let's see if it breaks this trend line because it hasn't. Okay, it hasn't broken the trend. Let's see if it breaks the trend line. It broke the trend line with an open and close. I said, great. So we got two things now. We have buy volume divergence, which means decreasing buy volume. Okay, and we have increasing sell volume. That's basically what that means. Increasing sell volume here. Great trade. I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Took it, and now our stop loss is not a price stop. Okay, it's not like I'm waiting for a price target to hit. I don't do that anymore. Okay, what I'm doing now is now I want to see a reason. Why am I gonna get out of the trade? Well, first, and that's why I want to do it in steps now. I never want to just do it, a price or just one thing. I want to do it in steps. I want to see steps in the market first because that's how the market works. Market doesn't just turn around on a dime. The market has certain steps it follows before it turns around. Step one, I want to see sell volume divergence, right? I want to see the sell volume start to diverge, which means that there's increasing sell volume, or it looks like, but the market isn't moving down anymore. Okay, that tells me there's buyers. Great. Then, if we don't see increasing buy volume right after that, I'm not selling the stock. It's just a pullback, right? It is just a pullback. That's all it is, and I'm going to keep holding the trade. That's basically what that means, okay? So it has to be in steps. It always has to be in steps like that. Otherwise, if it's not in steps, what happens? You just see increasing buy volume. There wasn't sell volume divergence. It's saying there's not a, there's not, it's not a real run up. We want to see sell volume divergence. We haven't seen that. So if we don't see that, or if we don't see decreasing sell volume, right? Because sometimes there isn't a divergence in the sell volume while your time frame at that specific time. I get it. So what's important is decreasing sell volume and then increasing buy volume. That's what you want to see, right? Because as prices get lower, sellers don't want to sell that low. Makes sense? Sellers don't want to sell it. Because think about it. If you buy something and as it gets more expensive, the volume has to decrease, right? Because there's going to be a lot of volume when the prices are low. Think about it, right? If candy is usually sold at $1, all of a sudden it goes on sale. It's at 50 cents. You're getting the same product for cheaper. It's going to be higher volume. You're going to have higher volume, right? So that's what you want to look at when you're inversely trading. Same thing with selling, same thing with buying. It's just inverse, flop it around. So we're going to have less selling as the stock keeps moving down. That's what I want to see. And then we want to see that followed by increased buying, because there could be less selling and then there is not buying. So people say, okay, there's no demand here still. Something happened and there is still no demand. Fine. The market keeps moving down. That's a great trade. Okay. That's a great trade. So we're just hanging out right now. So far we got 8% on this trade. We're up about 8%. Still, we still haven't seen anything. We haven't even seen step one, which is decreasing sell volume. We haven't even seen that. So right now everything's cool. Everything's good. We're just going to be running this trade and seeing where it goes. And I'll just label this, part one or whatever. And I'll just, we'll start the video again when we start seeing some kind of reason why we should change our direction, other than that, everything's good, everything's kosher. Nice trade, I mean, like, think about it. Let's look at this. The market shoots up. Okay, market shoots up. What happens? Right? I mean, we're already nearing this other resistance over here. We're already getting near this kind of zone. So what happens? Market shoots up. Great. What we want to see is buyers slow down. Right? So that's what we kind of see in this area. We kind of see buy volume decreasing a little bit. Right? Like, look at the average volume. This moving average here. It's decreasing a little bit, right? And as we see this pivot here, that's when everything changes. This pivot right here, that's when everything changes. Now it's a seller's market, right? And we see just that pivot right there tells us it's a seller's market. Say, okay, it's a seller's market. Great. And it changes, and boom. We hit this, we actually see a strong buy volume divergence here. And that's actually where everything changes, right there. And then we break through on the next swing low. So took it, and we should be trending down now for a little bit. And like I said, we are going to go until the steps are in order. All right. Let me see something real fast. We'll keep this video going. I kind of want to make each video about 10 minutes, so we'll see what happens in the next 3 minutes here. We should start seeing increasing sell volume just because, it was pretty early break. I mean, a lot of people are going to figure this thing's going to trend up all day, and it didn't. It kind of, it broke the trend. That was a trend break there. So people should be getting back into the vibe, and we should see it kind of start moving down. Let's see where VWAP is, the average price. Looked at it already earlier. Yeah, so we should see it kind of hit VWAP and possibly trade back into this pre-market channel that it was in. Something like that, I'm thinking. Is we made the video earlier today and we thought it was going to break down, didn't, it broke up, but this is kind of like where it wants to hang out around, I'm thinking. So if we just hold sideways, we'll end up to it, which is fine, but I'm thinking it doesn't just hold sideways. But I don't know. We took the trade and that's it. So we're going to wait until we see the proper steps, and that's about it. And as you see, it's a little bit scary right now. It's just a little bit scary. But we didn't really see a sell volume divergence. I mean, we barely saw it right here. We barely saw that. But it's not really, that can almost be expected where the trend line is. That can almost be expected that buyers were going to come in there. So Then we see it just totally disregard that and shoot right down. So I said, okay, you know what? That's perfect. We're not going to take that as a divergence. That's actually an increase of cell volume. So it's not step one. So we're still waiting. That's what that means, is that we're still waiting. This is just a pullback before it decides to head down lower. And you know, it's a little bit scary, but you have to trust your strategy. You have to trust it. And right now we don't see decreasing cell volume. That's step number one. Step number one is decreasing cell volume. And we don't see that. It was increasing cell volume, and now we have increasing body volume. It's a little not right. That's not right. So this is just a pullback. And then we'll see the continuation downwards. Anyways, yeah. Let me see if we're good. Okay. Yeah, I'll just pause the video and then we'll come back to it. And anyways, that's trade one. We'll come back to it later and see how it worked out, all that. Well, I might make another video another time today. So we'll come back to it in a little bit. All right. All right. Peace out.